If you've ever looked at your adult child and thought, why don't they talk to me anymore? Why do our conversations stay so surface level? You're not alone. Many parents, especially fathers from earlier generations, gave love through guidance, instruction, and solutions. But adult children often want something else entirely. Today, you'll hear the story of one father who believed he was helping, but unintentionally created emotional distance. And through his journey, we'll uncover the 4 things your adult children wish you'd finally understand. I'm Solon, and for years, I've spoken with family therapists, psychologists, and countless parents in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. And I can tell you this honestly. Most adult children aren't pulling away because they stopped caring. They're pulling away because they stopped feeling heard. This story is about understanding, healing, and rebuilding. Let me introduce you to Frank, a 72-year-old father, and his only son, Michael, age 41. Frank was a classic problem solver. Raised in a tough neighborhood, first in his family to hold a steady job with benefits, he believed providing answers was the same as providing love. When Michael scraped his knee, Frank told him how to walk better. When Michael struggled with school, Frank told him how to study. When Michael was nervous about a school play, Frank told him to toughen up. Frank didn't mean to shut him down. He genuinely believed, I'm helping him succeed. But decades later, he noticed something troubling. His son barely opened up anymore. If Frank asked, how's work? He would get, fine. If he asked about his son's marriage, we're okay. If he asked about anything emotional, the conversation ended. One weekend, after another stilted visit filled with small talk and silence, Frank's daughter-in-law gently told him, he needs you to listen, not fix. Those words stuck with him. And over time, through hard, honest conversations, Frank learned the 4 things his son wished he had understood all along. Let's walk through them using the framework situation, desire, conflict, change, result. Situation. Frank loved his son deeply, but expressed that love through lectures, solutions, and advice. Michael loved his father, but felt unseen emotionally. Desire. Frank wanted connection. Michael wanted understanding. Conflict. Their emotional languages didn't match. One spoke in instructions, the other needed listening. Change. Through open conversation, mistakes acknowledged, and patterns understood, Frank finally heard what his son had been trying to express for years. Result. Their relationship slowly transformed, not instantly, not perfectly, but meaningfully. Now let's go into the 4 things adult children wish you had finally understood, each revealed through Frank and Michael's journey. 1. I don't need you to fix my life. I need you to understand my life. This was the biggest revelation. Michael told his father, Dad, every time I shared something, you told me what I should do. It made me stop sharing. And he wasn't exaggerating. Research from the Gottman Institute shows that people, including adult children, only open up emotionally when they feel heard, not corrected. When Michael mentioned work stress, Frank launched into budgeting strategies. When Michael confided about anxiety, Frank told him to man up. When Michael talked about parenting struggles, Frank told him how he used to handle things. Michael learned, sharing leads to instructions, not connection. So he stopped sharing. The fix Frank discovered was simple, but life-changing. Instead of jumping in with solutions, he began saying one phrase, tell me more. Those 3 words opened the door to connection. 2. My boundaries aren't rejection, they're balance. Michael needed space, time alone, time with his own family, time to figure things out without feeling pressured. But to Frank, boundaries felt like distance, sometimes even disrespect. He would stew silently,
Why doesn't he visit more? Why didn't he call me back yesterday? Why is he pulling away? But Michael explained gently, Dad, I'm not 8 years old anymore. I'm balancing work, marriage, kids, bills, stress. I'm not avoiding you. I'm just overwhelmed. Studies from Harvard's Adult Development Project show that boundaries are a sign of healthy adulthood, not a sign of emotional disconnection. Frank realized he needed to shift from expecting closeness to inviting it. So instead of saying, "Why didn't you call?" he started saying, "Whenever you have time, I'd love to catch up." Instead of hinting about loneliness, "I hardly see you anymore," he said, "It means a lot when we spend time together." And slowly, Michael stopped feeling guilty and started feeling welcome. 3. Your approval matters more than you think, even now. This one surprised Frank. He thought, my son's a grown man. He doesn't need my approval. But Michael explained, Dad, your opinion shaped me. Even now, part of me listens for your reaction. When Frank criticized small things, the car Michael bought, the decisions he made at work, how he was raising his kids, Michael heard something deeper. I'm still not good enough. And decades of advice felt like decades of criticism. Psychology research at the University of Rochester confirms that parental criticism, even subtle, can affect self-esteem well into adulthood. Frank learned that his words still held power, so he started using that power differently. I'm proud of how you handle things. You're doing a great job as a father. I respect the choices you make. And each time he said something affirming, Michael opened up a bit more. 4. I want a relationship with you, but a different kind of relationship. This was the turning point. Michael said, Dad, I don't want you to be my instructor. I want you to be my father, the one I can talk to, the one I can relax with. As children grow, the relationship must evolve. What worked at age 10 doesn't work at 40. What felt loving at 12 feels intrusive at 35.
According to family therapy research, the shift from parent-child hierarchy to adult-adult relationship requires listening, curiosity, shared experiences, and mutual respect. Not control, not correction, not instruction. So Frank began practicing asking instead of telling, listening instead of lecturing, connecting instead of correcting. And slowly, the emotional distance began to close. Frank's story isn't unusual. In fact, it's extremely common. Here's what research shows. 1. Adult children withdraw when they feel judged or corrected. A study from the Journal of Family Issues found that unsolicited advice is one of the top causes of emotional distance between parents and adult children. 2. Listening builds more trust than giving advice. Neuroscience research shows that when someone feels heard, the brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. When someone feels corrected, the brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone. 3. Boundaries help relationships survive. Harvard's longitudinal study found that respecting autonomy strengthens long-term parent-child closeness. 4. Affirmation heals old wounds. Even late in life, hearing phrases like, "I'm proud of you," can rewire emotional patterns formed decades earlier. It's never too late. If you've recognized pieces of yourself in Frank's story, you're already on the road to healing. Here's practical ways to apply this wisdom today. 1. Use the listen first rule. Before responding to anything your adult child says, silently ask yourself, do they want comfort, connection, or solutions? You'll be amazed how often the answer is connection. 2. Replace advice with curiosity. Try these phrases. How did that feel for you? What do you think you'll do next? I'm here to listen if you want to talk. These open conversations instead of shutting them down. 3. Respect their time and boundaries. Say, call me when it works for you. Is this a good time to talk? I understand you're juggling a lot. Pressure creates distance. Understanding creates closeness. 4. Offer small but powerful affirmations. I'm proud of you. You've grown into a strong, wise person. You handle so much with grace. These melt decades of tension. Frank once believed love meant solutions, but he learned something far more profound. What adult children want most isn't answers, it's understanding. They want to be seen. They want to be respected. They want to be heard without correction. And they want a relationship that fits the adults they've become. When you shift from instructing to listening, from correcting to connecting, from judging to understanding, you give your child a gift they'll remember for the rest of their life. It is never too late to build a deeper bond. All it takes is willingness, and one small shift at a time. If this message touched you, please like, share, and subscribe. Together, we can help families heal, one honest conversation at a time.